Hey guys, Destiny Dragon God here for another Destiny info video, or controversy video. I recorded this now 3 or 4 times, and each time either I didn't like the way it looked or the file corrupted. Last time it was the way it looked. Or actually, yeah, it was the way that it looked. And that's mainly strings from the way I was speaking and the way I said, and I kept reiterating points like the problem is and stuff like that, and someone so kindly pointed out that maybe I should not do that. So, I'm going to actually change the format of how I do this time. I'm going to talk about issues and different acts, i.e. different segments, and I'm going to give my opinion on that, and I won't refer back to them unless it is extremely relevant. So, for those of you that haven't read the video name or the description box yet, today we're going to be talking about Destiny Taken King and the controversy that is around that certain subject. Here we go again for the third or fourth time. So, Destiny has the first point I'm going to illustrate is the way that the structure of what they're selling is. So, I'm not exactly sure who. I'm just gonna say that because they're the publisher. Activision is packaging Destiny in a triple bundle package with the Dark Below, House of Wolves, and Taken King for $60 for new people. Also, there is an additional $20 plus if you want 3 additional shaders, emblems, and class items, I think, which are like the stuff you put on your Guardian. They really don't do anything with the cosmetic. They will do stuff in Taken King, apparently, like stature-wise, but besides that, nothing really new. Anyways, it's $80 for that for the additional stuff plus the bundle I just previously stated, the Legendary Edition, digital and physical. Physical copy giving you basically a bunch of additional, I think, physical things like figures and stuff. I don't know. Tins maybe. I have no idea. I didn't exactly check. I just know that you do get additional stuff for getting the physical version, even though it's the same price as the digital version. But we'll talk about that later in the video. But anyway, next we have was it $20 for just the 3 shaders, 3 emblems, and 3 class items. For those of you that that have the year 1 expansions and just want the Taken King plus the additional stuff. Besides that, nothing really out of the ordinary. No Ghost Edition this time. I mean, of course there wouldn't be. Probably Destiny 2 there's going to be something like that, but for now there's no $150 edition. At least it seems that way. So, second segment, I should say. We're going to talk about the $20 DLC thing. The $20, basically 9 objects you get. Or from what I understand, it's only 9 objects. Personally, I don't really see the issue exactly with this, as seeing as how it's cosmetic. Cosmetic stuff I've previously stated in other videos as being just personal. If you want it, you buy it. If you don't, you don't. And this is the only time I feel that excuse illustrates the situation here is if you want it, you're going to buy it. If you don't, you won't buy it, because cosmetic things should not, I repeat, should not do anything to your playstyle or change the way that you play the game or affect the way the game is played, because it's cosmetic. It's supposed to be how you look, or I guess you'd say feel, but not necessarily how you play. And that's why I feel like it doesn't really matter, seeing as how it is cosmetic. Like I said, it will not matter, and that people are kind of making a stink for that over nothing. That's the only thing I feel like the stink for nothing is part of. And personally, I don't actually feel like that's the stink. I really don't. I don't feel like that's the big stink that everyone was complaining about. I don't feel like that's the issue at hand here, and I don't feel like that a lot of people are giving it its 2-bit the actual issue, the factual objective issue, the issue that has been plaguing a lot of this game for its entirety of its experience, which is the way that they've been flagging and selling this game to you. But that's segment 3, I think, or at least I'll have to look on the paper I'm currently looking at notes for. Anyway, Like I said, it's cosmetic. I'm just gonna go around this part up. It's cosmetic, doesn't matter, and that's not the real issue here. And I also feel, and I'm going to say this a lot and refer to it, that it's something that a lot of the main Destiny YouTubers are talking about as the cosmetic thing is that big of a problem. I don't feel like, once again, that is the main problem. I feel like that's the problem that they're talking about the most to kind of diffuse the other issue. And some of them don't even feel like the other issue isn't even an issue because it happens so often it's something that shouldn't be really talked about. And I feel like it should. So that's why I'm going to talk about it later. So segment 3, which is not actually the thing I was going to talk about, but segment 3 is basically the way that the game has been sold to you. So the way this game has been sold is in a, I will just flat out say it's a subscription style of playing. You know, all those people that hated Elder Scrolls, I think it was Online, because of the subscription fee, and now it doesn't, thankfully. Anyway, Destiny has a style of, DLC launching that is $20 every 3 to 4 months. Actually, sorry, $40 sometimes. And this is the factual stuff, people. I'm going to factually say what it is. So $20 every 3 to 4 months. And then after that 6-month reprieve period of, or that 6-month period where they sold you those 2 DLCs for $20, it accumulates to $40. They will sell you a $40 expansion or the new $60 game after 4 to 5 months. So, is this, this isn't really something that's new. Call of Duty does this all the time, the $15 expansions, actually every month, I think. And you're practically paying for a subscription to Call of Duty, if you think about it. And people don't like to say it's a subscription because they feel like you're not paying for something regularly monthly, i.e. Call of Duty could be called that, but Destiny, you're not paying for something regularly monthly, so you're not paying for a subscription. Plus, the subscription is only $20 every 3 months. It's not that bad. You think about other games, yeah, the subscription's not that bad. And to that extent, yes, they're right, it's not that bad. The problem is the subscription or the content that you're getting from that subscription really sufficient enough to warrant paying for the whole entire experience? And this brings into question the entire integrity of what they've been selling, I will say, is, you've been paying, and I mean, people argue this point. People argue this point repeatedly. People argue this point so much, and they still do. I have no idea why, but they will basically keep saying that the game launched perfectly fine, and that the 2 DLCs were not part of the original plan, I guess you'd say, for the game. I don't know what dimension these people were in, because I remember, objectively, seeing pictures and things like that of some of the stuff in these 2 DLCs that were shown off in past trailers before the game even launched, before the initial game. I'm talking about the base game, people. Thing that, people complained about not having as much content as previously talked about. Yeah, that game. It didn't have any of the stuff in there that it was supposedly flagging. I think it also reportedly had 2 raids at the beginning, and it didn't launch with the 2 raids, but that's speculation, I'll just say, because I don't know that factually. Here's the thing, and this is the thing I want people to understand. The game, even if it wasn't planned to launch those 2, even if the game didn't cut those 2 DLCs out, it still launched half-baked. It was a half-done game, and it was not complete. I'm just going to say it like that. Even if that stuff was not intended to be in the initial launch of the game still launched half-baked. It was not a $60 experience by any means. And the 2 $20 DLCs, I feel like could have been sold for $15 about as much as a Call of Duty DLC, if not cheaper. But, people argue the point that because you get weapons and armor and everything else that, sugar and spice make everything nice. In this case, the sugar being the DLC, and this case, the spice, being the animosity from all the player base, that they were able to skim through, unscathed. But the issue, or I'm not even going to say the issue, the point I'm going to illustrate is that the game basically did not sell, or did not have what was advertised in it, nor did it have the content that it needed either way to be a $60 experience that we all know and enjoy. But that's segment 3. Now, segment 3 also goes into segment 4 in the way of this. Because of that lackluster feeling that a lot of us were left with, most of us old veterans are very, subtle, very, some of us are actually very mad. I will admit that I am not too happy about this recent dealing with DLC and everything. As you can tell by this video, a lot of us are not happy, and especially those of us that per se bought all the experience, at launch. I'm talking about the two DLCs with the base game, not knowing even what was in the base game or how the base game would play or what was going to be in the two DLCs. I'm talking about those year one vets, which are most of them, I say. And even the year one vets that came on the bandwagon even after all that crap, after the game launched with horrible server support, after the game launched with buggy with weapons that didn't exactly fit the snuff and were too overpowered and things like that. After the constant nerfs and things like that that didn't need to be added to some weapons that were just intentionally added just to add a more broadened playstyle to the game. I'm talking about after all of that, those year one vets. And guess what you just got? Yes, a freaking slap in the face. And for those of you that do not say that you got a slap in the face and that I'm completely wrong or that this standboy is completely wrong, please illustrate in the comments below your point, and please rationalize my next segment for me. Next segment is going to be this entire issue of basically paying for year one vets having to pay $40 for the expansion, while new players have to pay or only pay $60 for the entire expansion, or pay $80 for everything plus an additional stuff that's nine emblems or nine different stuff like shaders, emblems, and everything else like that. Well, and also year one vets or your old players would have to pay $60 for all that stuff. The cost of an actual game. Now, if we're not even going to get into quid cost because, oh my god, I feel like the Europeans are just getting ripped off on this deal, but let's just go on American deals because I live in America. I don't have to pay for that. And as sad as that is, I can support that. I can support them all I want, but I mean, I can't change their currency right now. So, yeah. Here's the point I'm going to illustrate, though, even with the American standing or the American price. It's entire BS. Now, opinionally, I believe that after I paid I paid for $35 for the expansion pass and $60 for the base game. Sorry, no, not $60. I paid like what was it? Whatever the other edition was, this $90 edition, I think it was, or $80 edition. The DM launchers. I got that one. I got a PS4 bundle for Destiny. I think I got an additional thing after that, but that was it. And after paying for all of that, which is, I'm just going to say just the game and the two DLCs, that's about $95 to $100 depending on how you bought it. You have to pay for $40 on top of that to continue your experience. Now, before I continue, this isn't something new, and a lot of YouTubers have illustrated this point. It is not something new. A lot of games come out with Game of the Year editions. A lot of games sell games as they continue their saga with the expansions added, and because a lot of games don't want to, isolate their player base to having to pay for everything else with that because they missed it. Now, people will argue that point, like I just said, and they're right in some way too. I feel because you don't want your player base isolated. You don't want to have people that can't play the same things because they're locked behind a paywall of excess of $80 because that's what all the stuff together would cost. So of course you would need to put the game together with everything so you can buy everything and everyone can have the same experience when that DLC launches. The problem I have with that is for those of us that stuck with this, at the game I think launched with sufficient stuff, sufficient servers, sufficient content, and everything like that. I feel like the game would have been, I think this would have been perceived a little bit nicer. I feel like there wouldn't have been most issues, and this wouldn't have been much of it would have been still maybe a little bit of an issue, but I think it would have blown over a little bit less than what is now. However, the way things still are, that stuff didn't happen, so we're stuck in this situation. And that's when we're having the torn player base situation, where half the player base says that you shouldn't feel like an entitled okay. Also, I want to talk about this real quick before I continue. And the entitled gamer theory. The entitled gamer theory, for those of you that don't know, basically is this point that says gamers feel, or most gamers feel, like they should be entitled to everything that that the game has to offer. They feel like they should be entitled to whatever they're whatever the game basically has. So if something launches with like DLC wise, entitled gamers feel like everything should be free for them. They should get everything free pass. Now, yes, that would be actually nice. I will admit that'd be nice. But you do have to understand people do need to make money. And businesses do need to make money. And that is true. The problem is what happens when that want just to make some money becomes greed. And I'm going to say greed because that's what it is. It's blatant and utter greed. Because yes, the entitled gamer, for those that feel like they should be entitled and everything should be free, yes, it is a bit wrong because some people have to, people have to work to make these games and everything else like that. However, when they are selling you all this stuff and you have to end up paying, I'm going to, let me just say it like this. Those of us who spent $140 are not very happy with those of us that are defending the people that can pay for the game for $60 and get everything we had to pay $140 for. Now, yes, this happens, but this happens over time, and I feel like that's the issue at hand here. Time was one of the things. Had this launched maybe as Destiny, or had this happened when Destiny 2 was about to come out, I feel like maybe people would have been mad, but not as mad, because the continuation of Destiny 1 wouldn't still be happening. Destiny 2 would have been coming out, and everyone would have been more focused anyway on buying Destiny 2 than paying for all that DLC they purchased. Because, that's a continuation of I guess you'd say it's a new story continuation as opposed to the continuation of the old story, which is, arguable to a certain point. And yes, I feel like that would have been a better situation, as I just stated, but it didn't happen like that. How it happened was, we're getting sold a $40 expansion, and others are not. Now, going back to that point, a lot of MMOs, I think Guild Wars 2 does this all the time. Skyrim, for instance, did this, Game of the Year edition with all the DLC. However, this is the thing, like I go back and say, time was the freaking underlier here that made everything nice. Time. People had time to play with all this content and everything else and then move on to other things by the time the Game of the Year edition came out, so that they could say, oh yeah, all this stuff is cool, but wait for the Game of the Year edition so your friends can, play all this stuff, or wait for this special edition to launch with all the expansion so you guys can play. However, they still gave, stuff. Generally, stuff was still given. And yes, Destiny is going to give you stuff for those of you that are year one vets and are going to get not Dark Below, the Taken King. Yes, you are going to get something. However, if you're not getting Taken King, like some of us, you are going to be locked behind a paywall and you will not be receiving crap for your year one service. Congratulations, might I say. You stuck with our game. Now pay for our $40 expansion into year 2 of Destiny 1, or else you will not get anything and we will leave you to the wolves. House of Wolves joke. Anyway, that's my point. It's isolating your player base. It's isolating your consumer base. You have this split of people that aren't going to get it, that really don't find the satisfaction in getting ripped off right here, and they're going to not pay for the DLC. So you're going to reward the ones that continue to buy into your BS, which is nice. That's what you're supposed to do as a business. I'm sure it depends, but that is how you make certain sponsors, and that's how you get certain people to like your content and what you're selling more, is by giving them royalties. However, for those of you that bought the royalties additionally without any recollection as to what was going to happen, you got screwed. Blatant and simple, you got screwed, because you're now going to have to continue to pay into this screwery until they are done screwing you and you have purchased every product they want you to purchase, or every product that's sufficient enough to continue your experience. Sorry. And that's just not okay by me. Morally, objectively, I just don't see why it should be happening like that. Now, I probably didn't do the best of explaining why this is exactly different than other games, how they do their Game of the Year editions. I just mentioned time and kind of tiptoed around the issue, but time is the issue. Time is the thing here that really makes people okay with things. Because if you have time for something, or if you have time that they've done playing with it, like I said, they're fine with it. Time was not issued here. Time was basically put on the back burner, and immediately we had to pay for a Game of the Year edition, Legendary edition, sorry, that would have everything in it. Now, if you already have House of Wolves and everything else like that, or sorry, if you don't have House of Wolves and everything like that, this is a good experience for you. For all of those new players out there, this is wonderful. This is the perfect thing. This is what Destiny should have launched like. Actually, to be fair, Taken King is the actual first expansion they have. That's a factual statement right there. That's the first expansion they actually have. House of Wolves and Dark Below technically aren't even expansions. They're more like the game that should have launched. But let's just say that, or I'm going to just say that they weren't expansions, and that the first expansion is that. So you are getting a DLC for free technically, and the 2 expansions, and the actual game. So that's a good deal. That is a really good deal. And you know what? Bravo on them, because if the game had sold like that, I would have been swimming in so much, like, I would have been like freaking the dog on the bone here, saying like how good their company is, how much they care about their player base, how much they really want to keep their consumer base happy, and how much they really care about, you know, how much they do think about the bottom line, but how much they still care about their player base enough to give them deals here and there. I would have been all over that. However, it didn't happen. The fact still stands. It did not happen like that. And for anybody trying to fool themselves into thinking it did, you are just lying to yourself right through your teeth. You know, I could sit here and argue this point for the next hour, actually, because I don't have to do anything. Well, actually, no, I do have to do another video. But I could sit here and argue this point for the next hour, and I feel like only a few of you are going to really listen to it. Or the ones that will listen to it, I feel like are going to be outshadowed by everybody who is freaking saying that this is the best thing since sliced cheese and that we should not be complaining about it. And I feel like as a consumer that you're supposed to moan and complain about things that you feel are unjust. Well, as a consumer, yes, but also as a reviewer, I have to complain and moan. I have to. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to tell the people that are looking at me and saying, is this a good deal or is this a bad deal, what factually it is to me. Factually, you're getting ripped off here. If you're a year 1 vet, you're having to pay $140 for everything. Or even if you didn't, you're having to pay $120 for everything, plus the additional $20 for everything if you want the special stuff. And you are getting ripped off personally. From a objective point of view, you are getting ripped off, because new players have to only pay $60 when they could have to pay $80. And don't say because they can pay $80 for the additional stuff that technically it's fair, because it's not. Now, if they paid $100, I might be more fair. I would actually kind of condone that. $100 to $120, I'd condone that, because then it's kind of like evened out to the point of they have to pay for the 2 DLC and they have to pay for the expansion. They just got a little bit of a discount, and I'd be like, okay, it's kind of fair, but still, it would be wrong to the year 1 vets that stuck with this game during all the thick and thin and defended this game, even after they ripped it apart for all the crap that happened, stuck with this game still to play it. I feel like it's a slap in the face. And objectively, it's a bad deal. It's isolating their player base. Now, that's probably it for this video. I don't really know what else I would talk about. I will say that tomorrow I will be recording. I don't know if it'll be out tomorrow exactly, but tomorrow I will be recording. Will be. I said will be. Anyway, we'll be recording a video with the Kid 50, and we'll be talking about this issue. And it's going to be one of those podcast things. We talk about this issue. We might have another person in if we can. And we'll talk about this issue and some other stuff that's come up with this game. But like that entire I think it was Luke Smith interview they had. It was just it was atrocious. But yeah, we'll be talking about that. But you know what? For those of you that are new to the channel, let me just say, I'm sorry for those of you that are old real quick. I'm not going to be doing much more Destiny stuff, and I'm taking a breath to say this because I know a lot of you are here for the Destiny news and here for the Destiny stuff. But it's just not going to happen. I'm not getting Taken King. I don't feel like it's a good deal. Like I said, I don't think you should buy it either. It's not. It's objectively, it's screwing you. That's it. And I'm not going to support that, nor am I going to condone anybody else to say that it's okay to purchase this when I feel like it's not. Now, when Destiny 2 launches and they have that Destiny Complete Edition come out, like I was trying to say, because that's what's gonna. I guarantee it's gonna be called the Complete Edition. By all means, by all freaking means, go over there and get it because that's gonna be a really good deal. It's gonna be a steal for everybody. But I'm gonna not be doing any more Destiny news really. I might do a couple new Destiny videos, but I won't be playing the stuff most likely. And I won't, or at least for the next 6 months. I know the Kid 50 will most likely be getting Taken King, but I have no idea. He's still making up his mind about that, and I think a lot of us still are. But I'm currently just going to be focusing on more games like Battleborn, Star Wars Battlefront, No Man's Sky especially. You've been seeing new videos come up with that. Tom Clancy's. I know, guys. I haven't done the Tom Clancy's video yet. And I might not even get around to it, so I might just let everyone see the gameplay that I captured from the E3 video press conference, and that in Horizon Zero Dawn. But anyway, guys, thank you guys for enjoying the video. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the content, and if you have a different viewpoint than me, please illustrate it in the comment section below, and we can have a good old-fashioned debate, subjectively and objectively, depending on which way you want to have the debate. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.